Hey guys, I'm here with my fake best friend, Kaylin Miranda. Don't worry, by the end of this video, it's gonna be very clear why he is my fake best friend. Heavy on the fake.
Yep.
He is owning it. That's how you know that's crazy. Oh my God. Stick around, grab a snack, and tune into this real conversation about relationships between men and women. We're gonna be as honest about some fun things that have happened in our lives that brought us closer, and just other real topics that I think Christians need to talk about. Yeah?
Sounds good.
Okay. I can't.
It's actually gonna be really serious. Well, not totally serious, but
we're naturally very this is us, so don't expect too serious of it. It's gonna be a lot of laughs because that's our dynamic, but we're gonna definitely, when it's time to be serious, we'll be serious.
we'll try.
I cannot keep it to myself. God been too good to me. This is no secret. I cannot keep it to myself. God been too good to me.
Welcome back to the From Sister to Sister channel, where we're all about sharing things like worship. I know I've been trying to upload some dance content. I always say the same thing, more to come. But yes, worship, healthy conversation. I'm really excited about the conversation we're going to get into today, and lifestyle tips. Today, I have my great friend, Kaylin Miranda, and we've been friends for... I met you when I was 22, so how many years is that? I'm gonna use my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 years. So Kaylin and I met in grad school. We both went to Syracuse. What was your first impression of me?
Honestly, I thought you were, a nice girl, student. I didn't know what to expect at first. I'll say I could tell that you were definitely like driven.
Ooh, I like
and,
that.
About your business.
Okay.
But I didn't really know what to make of it originally at first until we actually started to actually connect.
I like that you said that, because sometimes we think someone is one way and they're a whole separate way. I remember when I first met Kaylin, I was rooting for Black people in grad school. You gotta understand, we gotta stick together. So when I saw Kaylin, he was in his little, athletic sweat gear. I'm like, oh, look at this adorable kid trying to hire his education. I think I kind of made the assumption that, maybe you're a former basketball player or a point guard who maybe didn't care about school but is trying to get serious about his life.
Wow.
Do we do that? Is there any way you kind of judged me at first?
Not like that.
Oh my gosh! You make me feel terrible.
Nah, I mean, it's funny because when you go to grad school, you just assume that everybody's, I don't know, just try. When I think of people in grad school, I think they're like the cream of the crop. They're like these are the go-getters, and so I think I assumed that everybody in our class was just about that life. But I really was that athletic. I was really coming off
he had a little swag to him. He just came with his athletic. He made everyone know I'm an athlete. The athlete is in the building. It's okay. I'm not mad at you.
I was retired.
Retired as well. Do you remember what made us super close?
Was it the project?
Nah. Okay. So we were walking from lunch, and it just so happened that we finally got into just a casual conversation. Somehow I told him my favorite show, which was Hit the Floor. And surprisingly, you had seen it. Do you remember what else you shared with me? He had a little crush on a little character. I think her name is Logan Browning. He used to say, that girl is something else.
That was a season I was in.
You moved on to better things.
I mean...
Who's your new crush? Celebrity crush?
Actually, we just talked about this the other day.
Yeah, I want you to share with them.
And I can't pronounce her name. Gugu something.
The lady from Beyond the Lights. I always say that's good taste. Good job. She's
African, sister.
Africans are the best, clearly. If you don't know, You better recognize. What I like to do in this series is talk about one of your favorite things and one of your least favorite things. So I'll go first to give you an idea. Kaylin, my favorite thing about you, this kind of ties into our first conversation. Like when I was just being myself, saying like, yeah, I like this show, Hit the Floor. Kaylin's just very approachable. I can tell when I speak with you that you've spent time with a lot of women and like it's not weird. Like we need to break the stigma that talking to a lady has to be this buttoned up thing, or like I talk to Kaylin the same way I talk to some of my girlfriends. Yes, you need healthy boundaries sometimes. I can't say everything to Kaylin, but he really from the jump set a very comfortable playing field for me to be myself. I think it helped because we're both Christian. Later developing in our friendship, I'll probably get into it more, but you are an incredible listener. Like you never make me feel like I'm talking too much. I think as we got closer, I was like, one day I just asked Kaylin, I kind of text a lot, I'm long-winded, does that annoy you? And you were like, no. I mean, you are long-winded, but I was like, okay, I can definitely be myself. I love your faith. I love how there's certain relationships, like you got to assess, is it bringing you closer to Christ or away from it? And time would tell that although Kaylin just gotten baptized, you
just came to faith.
Yeah, you definitely were trying to be a light to those around you. So that was inspiring to see. I think the way you moved actually inspired me to get baptized. I had been saved, but seeing how dedicated you were made me want to take things to the next level.
So it's my turn?
It is your turn.
Honestly, Camille, one of my favorite things about you is honestly your empathy. Like for just people. Like I think like genuine like care for people. I think you can probably throw in like selflessness too.
Wow.
But the reason why I say that is because I feel like you genuinely like put I feel like you put people before yourself, which I think is very, very rare in today's age. Like most people in our society, like, they're me-centered. It's like, if you're not providing me something, you're not giving me something, you're going to get cut off or you get canceled, especially in this cancel. But like,
cancel culture.
But I can generally say, like, Camille, like, you actually, like, genuinely, like, care for people. And it's not about, what are you providing for me? Like, for example, if someone threw a party or had a birthday party celebration, like, you show up for them. I can even think of, like, in our relationship, like, every time when I was living in NYC, like, you were actually always hung out with me for my birthday.
Wow.
Especially in a new city where I didn't really have much family or friends because I just moved to it, but you were always there. So, like, just that's the desire to make people feel cared for or desired. I think that's just like so rare. Definitely one of my favorite things about you.
Wow. It's so hard to have someone speak kindly about you. Like, I don't even know what the footage looks like right now, but if I look awkward, it's because I'm still working on receiving. I like to affirm and I love to get affirmation back, but it's still like, I love it so much that I get awkward when I get it. But carry on, Kaylin.
I would say the other thing I love about you is, what's the word for it? You're just down to earth.
Hey.
Like, no, like seriously, like the same way you said that you feel like comfortable talking to me, like I generally feel like I felt comfortable talking to you, I can actually be myself around you as well,
Perfect.
which is also kind of weird because, people give off a vibe and like they really actually care what you're saying or listen to you. Like, but I felt like, anyway, I felt like you were down to earth, but also like, I felt like you're like a big kid at heart.
I like that.
Which is fun. It's fun. I think it encapsulates like that down to earth like attitude. Like you don't take yourself too seriously.
Thank you. Yeah.
But like to the folks out there, she is like super serious. Like for someone who's accomplished as much as she has. No. For someone who's accomplished as much as you have, has been successful in like all different areas of life. Like for you to still be like humble, down to earth, not able to like joke about yourself and stuff, like it's such a big deal. And so I and in some ways, I can set myself down to earth too. So we just clicked on that level.
Yeah, it was an instant chemistry, and it was great. I don't want to get too mushy, but I guess another favorite thing I really appreciate about you, Kaylin, is going back to this listening thing. I think the reason why I talked Kaylin's ear off so many times is because he was like the ear I didn't know I needed. Sometimes you don't know you're starving in an area until you get it. And I can say that you've done an amazing job to really make me feel heard. It's not about being quiet. Yes, maybe you can tell Kaylin is naturally like a little shy, but I think it's like, that's fine. Like I don't go for like, it's not about like, oh, who has the best charisma, but I could see your heart posture. And when Kaylin is comfortable, don't sleep on Kaylin. He gives the best advice. Anytime I've come to him and vented, it's like, it wasn't just the gratification of like, oh, he let me talk. Like you listen and you give amazing feedback. Like you're like excited. Like you're like, oh wait, what happened? Wait, I got a question for you. I'm gonna come back to it later. Like not a jab at gentlemen, but I don't know a lot of gentlemen that move like that. And thank you for making me feel heard. So this channel wouldn't be real without talking about things that we don't even have to say you don't like about someone, but like what was an adjustment that we had to look? If you've been friends with someone over 2 years, you're gonna learn and make adjustments for them. I had to adjust to the fact that Kaylin is a horrible texter. And I remember like, this is how I knew I couldn't get mad. We had just started getting close. Kaylin already had a best friend. His name, we're not gonna say his name, but he was close to another black male on campus. And I remember we were in the lab and he's hyped up like, this is my bestie. His bestie calls him and I'm watching the phone ring and he's just looking at it. And I'm like, Kaylin, you got to answer that? He's like, I'll get to it later. And that's when I knew like, yo, this man is different. And you know, sometimes with Kaylin, like I'm not going to go into detail, but I know he has my back in other personal areas that he's shown me. But it was an adjustment that sometimes when Kaylin's in grind mode, you may not hear from him for a couple of weeks, couple of months. And it's okay. I've learned over time, like quality over quantity. I've had to call you out a couple of times. Like I'm going to explain how Kaylin earned the name Fake. So it was like, we were Facebook friends. I just got an Instagram. We were on Facebook. And Kaylin, I would catch him telling on himself. He would say things like, oh, I just seen this. I saw your post. It was so funny. And I had to say, Kaylin, stop it right now. What you mean you saw me on Facebook and you didn't like my stuff? We are not fake. We don't do that to each other. And guess what? Guess what he's still doing today? I mean, I saw your post. I was going to respond. I was like, yo, you are the definition of fake. That's fake. But let me tell you, I'd rather take fake friends. Like, get you some friends that you can be like,
I mean, is it really fake?
Come on, let's talk about it. I think it's more real when you show people who you show me who he really is. Like, I love the relationships where you can be like, yeah, I saw your call and I didn't really feel like talking. And yeah, I'm on Instagram. Like, don't run away. Like, there's too many people like, oh, I didn't text Shelby back. So now I'm going to pretend like I'm not going to post to my story. Be yourself. Like, if you have I can get into the text culture. That's a separate YouTube video. But if you are close enough with someone, they'll peep like your habits. Like, okay, so-and-so just wasn't ready to chat right now, because we know when we talk, sometimes we talk for like an hour plus, because it's more low maintenance, which is what I like.
But I will say though, I always get back.
Always gets back.
Always get back.
And hits me with the same energy, because like I said, I can be a little long-winded because I'm like catching up on all the things happening. He comes with the same energy, the he ha-has, the questions, the support. He's a good conversator. Just sometimes just give him time to get there. Okay, let me have it. What did you have to adjust with me?
Ooh, all right. I mean, there's a lot. No, but I would say I think with you, Camille, I think I had to just learn to be patient with you.
Mm. I'm listening.
I would say I think it's been well documented. Sometimes your organizational skills haven't been the greatest.
We have a record. We have a record.
Being on time.
You're preaching. You're preaching.
That's the areas like, all right, we know that, Camille says, so we're hanging out at this amount of time. Expect it to be like an hour or an hour and a half later. But also, I think one of the things I had to adjust is like, you can be kind of stubborn. You can be like I think most of it is just because like when you get passionate about something, you get your feelings get attached to something. Like it can be hard for you to like let go of it. So even no matter how much advice I might try to give you, I feel like you can. I mean, this is like all areas of life. You can hold on to stuff. You can like, I'm gonna do it my way. I might have to learn the hard way, but I'm gonna get it.
I think Justin Bieber has a song about that. Sometimes it's hard to do the right thing. I don't know.
I'll leave it Justin. I'll leave the Bieber to you. But I would say that. Dang, I don't know if there's anything else.
Because I'm perfect. That's why. But no, I'm so glad he said that because people who don't know me, they see me moving with all my come alive stuff like that. Which I don't know is that takes a certain amount of focus and concentration when I go into project management mode to try to be organized. People who know the real me, I'm a YOLO girl for life. Like, you know how it's bad boy for life is YOLO for life over here. And if you were to, I'm a true campaigner. Like if you were to look up the definition of a campaigner, you would see my mugshot. I'm particular about what I'm passionate. I think you nailed that. But kind of YOLO, like I said, with like, yeah, we going out to eat. Don't worry what time. We gonna eat good food anyway. It's gonna be fine. Why you worry? I'm working on it. It's a benefit, like, because sometimes in business you have to be able to go with the flow. Mm-hmm. But I'm working on discipline things. I'm working on having more of that linear mindset, seeing ahead. But there's some things about you that may not change. So talking about like future relationships, I do hope that my future partner is more linear than me so that we can complement each other in that way. I also like to talk about times where we, not so much fights, like you don't have to be, when you're a Christian, it never sometimes escalates into cursing each other out or calling.
It was never that.
Yeah. My favorite words to say to you, Kaylin, when he's misbehaving, do you know what they are?
Fake.
Fake, okay. I'm usually, when Kaylin misbehaves, I usually just say like, delete my number, new phone, who's this, and don't talk again, and occasionally, are you crazy? But it never gets to the point where I'm really like, he knows I'm joking. It never gets to the point where like, I'm really bringing down his spirit. And as Christians, whether you're a man friends with a lady or a lady friends with another lady, find a way to communicate your frustrations without really tearing someone down. Feel confident in your relationship to still be like, no, that kind of messed me up. Mm-hmm. I'm actually still working on that because I feel like sometimes I make it seem like it's okay with certain response times when it's like, no, I really needed to hear from you. But this is not just you. It's a lot of people. I'm working on being more honest in that area. But no, we got into kind of a disagreement. Our first disagreement, do you remember what it was about?
I know how to do it, faith, right?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So Kaylin had just gotten saved. And at that time, it was so adorable. Like, Kaylin thought all of his classmates were living in sin. Like, Kaylin had no friends. I was trying to be nice. I would say, Kaylin, I knew better than to bring Kaylin out to the bar or anything like that. But I was like, hey, Kaylin, we're having a barbecue today. You want to come? Almost immediately, Kaylin would be like, nah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm like, oh, this guy. But no, we were talking about wine. Mm-hmm. Kaylin, what were your thoughts about wine at that time?
So I guess
I'm with the people. I talk to the people.
So like I said, like she said, I just came to faith. And, when you first come to faith, or like you can be like super overzealous about like just keeping God's commands and stuff like that. I think a lot of times people think like, like since I've come to faith now, I can't like do anything, or we get super sensitive about topics or things in the world that we generally people see as like bad or something. So I think even think for one, alcohol, I'm like, oh, like do Christians like do that? Also, but I think one of the biggest reasons is I actually just wasn't like reading the scriptures properly. Because when you go into scriptures, you can see, Jesus turned water into wine, but obviously there's like moderations and limitations.
My man thought it was grape juice. I'm not gonna play you, but
no, for real.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the way I didn't even say like, oh, I'm trying to get lit off this wine. I said something like, oh, I'm not a big drinker, but I definitely want wine at my wedding. The way Kaylin came from my life. That's how we're gonna end this. The way Kaylin came from my life. We talked it out like adults, and I heard him out, and he heard me out, and we just disagreed to disagree. But it's been a blessing to watch you grow. Mm-hmm. Now Kaylin is out here. Drinking may not be his thing, but I see him just more comfortable, especially at my parties, and just it's a beautiful thing to watch someone grow into who they are. You don't have to be me. I don't have to be you. But it's really dope.
I will say like, but I think one of the biggest things I can preach for a moment. Not really preach, but like I think that's why it's like really important to like read God's word and like not sort of let even if it's your church or like pastors. I think read God's word for yourself, and then you can start to break down what does God say, what does He doesn't say.
Okay, Kaylin, when did you know that I was your best friend? Better yet, when did you know that I had surpassed Jamal? Sorry, Jamal, it's nothing personal. In fact, I've heard a lot of great things about you. Hopefully we'll meet one day. But go ahead, Kaylin. Go ahead.
I mean, those are big shoes to fill. But I think you did a good job. Honestly, I think it was a couple different things. Mm-hmm. I think first was like our big group projects.
Well, okay, yeah, we spent a lot of time.
Just I think we're going to touch on that later.
Yes,
but just like the bonding we did on those projects, because those projects like it took a lot of growth, took a lot of trust in us as like partners and students. But I don't know, I just think we bonded to a point where I could depend on you, trust you. I saw your heart.
Okay.
As opposed to some of grad school, it could be dog eat dog.
Let me tell you something. You're gonna get into your other point, but it is dog eat dog. There was a girl who just really didn't care for me. I'm not gonna say because it was because I was Black, but we were all in a project together, and she shut us out every time we tried to ask like, what can we do? What can we do? Nothing. Next thing you know, we're in the teacher's office and the professor is saying like, yo, if you guys don't pull your weight, we may have to flunk you on this project. I'm like, flunk you where? Like, I've been holding my portion. I can't control that this girl is out to get me. And you're right. We did go closer because you saw a different side of me. This was before I got baptized. I think Kaylin saw me have an exchange of words. Shorty almost caught some hands. And Virginia is for lovers. I can't really fight, but I felt like I could fight in that moment. But that's how the Holy Spirit was moving in me.
It was pretty well.
It was intense. And I mean, even we have had disagreements on artwork. Like sometimes you're project manager, account manager, copywriter. I remember one time we really didn't see eye to eye on this Walmart tagline. I'm like, Kaylin, it's this. And you're like, no, it's this. We had to bring the professor in to settle it. You won. It's okay. And I remember like, I think we turned to each other and we're like, sorry, it wasn't that deep that we were getting. You get passionate when you are creative. You get passionate. I think that we grew closer to be able to take a step back.
But you proved that you had the creative skills.
Thank you. I tried.
You weren't copywriter, but you got a little stuff.
There. I designed her. Yeah. We have so many inside jokes.
I think the second thing, and this part, I think that really sold it for me, and because I think we're both athletes, and you a ball, I was track, but we played ball together on campus.
Yeah.
Like in our downtime.
That helped us keep in shape because we were eating a lot of good meals.
We were eating really bad. But ball was amazing because I think it was like, you know, like I said, again, like that trusting, that we were teammates. I think there's just something about sports when people like play together, like you just naturally bond and earn trust with each other. And those are just like fun times. I'm just gonna those are just like fun times. And we would run on the court.
Yes, we were. Yeah.
Like honestly, I'm not gonna brag. That's probably the best ball I played. And
wow.
I
saw you even transform. Like you became Kobe. Rest in peace, Kobe.
RP. But but like when we played those games in Syracuse gym, like we started balling together. That was dope. You know.
I actually think that's my favorite moment too, when I was like, oh my gosh, I think this is one of my closest friends. Because you know how it is, sometimes guys try to play women. Even though every team I was on, we was winning, I was just whoosh, whoosh, every time. But I remember the guys didn't pick me for one round for whatever reason, and Kaylin sat out, and I remember like, yeah. But can we go back to like how that ball actually saved our waistlines? Because I had terrible eating habits.
I'll say the third thing that I knew we were best friends. We both got good appetites.
Yes.
We both. I think you're more a foodie than me.
Yeah.
But we both can appreciate a good meal, and so I think we hit up pretty much every spot on Marshall Street in Syracuse.
You love that Chinese restaurant, Panda. I'm like, this basic
Panda
Chinese
West.
food.
It was basic.
I increased Kaylin's life. I'm gonna tell you, when I first met Kaylin, he was like, yeah, I cook for myself. I'm like, what you cook? You know how to make chicken wings? And so I taught Kaylin how to have a real, what we call Fagan's moments. That means you gotta get 2 appetizers, 2 meals, 2 whatever. You just live your best life and you try what you want because you do what you want because you're popping. I felt the spirit on that. But I used to wild out. Like, oh my gosh.
Want me to tell it?
I mean, go ahead. I'm a little embarrassed.
I've never seen this in my life. I've never seen someone on the way to the restaurant get a snack. Before we get to the like, we would go, if we were going to like Fagan's, we might have to stop at and get like a taco. Like,
if you know Marshall Street, they make the best burger patty melts.
Burger melt. That's what.
So you know, if we eat fried rice, sometimes when you're waiting for the fried rice, you just need a snack on a little burger melt. I know someone may feel me. We don't get the fries, but just the burger melt is lit. But I've changed. I've definitely changed my eating habits. All right, so we shared a lot of hee ha ha things, but there are also some real, more serious things that brought us closer. And yeah, we're just gonna drop a few. We can laugh about some of the things now, and some of the things are more serious that it just built our character overall. So the first thing was when we almost drowned. We're exaggerating, but what had happened was we had come late from the lab. We spent a lot of hours in grad school. You just are cranking out so many projects. But it was late at night. It was pouring. I was driving a gentleman's car. We're not going to get into whether he was sweet on me or not, but he trusted me to have his car while he was away for the summer, which was a blessing, to get groceries, yada, yada, yada. We were driving home. I was giving Kaylin a ride home. And the Syracuse street irrigation system is trash. The rain caused the streets to flood. And I mean, Kaylin will tell you for himself, like the way the water came across the car, I didn't know if the car was gonna be able to drive through that. I thought we were gonna have to swim through it. Like, what were your thoughts, Kaylin, in that time?
That was super scary. I think it was one of those moments. It was like sort of surreal, like you see out of a movie, like literally,
Titanic.
Like Titanic-esque, like, you know, Jumanji. That's like the monsoon scene.
Yeah.
Like, but like just, you know, our car was like almost like halfway like flooded in water. So you're thinking like, oh shoot, like, dang, are we gonna have to like abandon ship? And 2 is like, I think we're thinking like, dang, what's gonna happen to this car? Right?
Yeah.
That's not
I was
yours.
like, this man is gonna just sue me. It's gonna be over for our relationship. And I could see the panic in your face. And he was trying to calm me because I was driving. He was like, it's okay, Camille. it's okay. And that's when you know, like, it wasn't okay, but we got through it. We pushed, the car made it through the water. But yeah, be careful if you're in Syracuse. I don't know if they fixed the pipe systems. When it rains, it floods over there. Another thing is just being able to have someone you can talk to. I'll let you share like the personal things you've gone through with health, as you feel comfortable. But I remember, like, another thing that made me feel like, wow, I'm really close to this person was around that time I had turned 23. That's when some of like weird stuff started going on with my body, hormones. I was experiencing some very unusual things. And I remember just being able to turn to Kaylin, like, we're both away from home, no real family around, and just like, hey, I know I'm a girl. Girls don't really talk to guys about this stuff, but I have, this big girl appointment. Can you just pray for me? And Kaylin, another thing I love about you, I won't get emotional, is that you've always been there to pray for me about serious things going on in my life, whether it's family stuff, health stuff. And Kaylin follows up. Like, there's never been an interview where he wasn't just letting me know, like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I sent up a prayer for you. How'd it go? But going back to that health scare in my life, like, if I never told you, like, that moment really just blessed me, knowing that I had someone, while I was trying to be strong, being really scared, like, to pray right before that appointment. And it ended up not being the worst thing.
Yeah, like, I actually went through my own, like, sort of health scares in life, actually a couple years ago. I won't get too deep into it, but, it was a life-changing thing where, I was, nervous. You're always nervous to, like, ask for help, ask her.
I don't like that. Yeah, what happened?
Or ask for prayer.
Yeah.
But I did know that there was a few people in my life that I could actually trust and just, like, ask for prayer. You were one of them. You were one of them. Mom, dad, brothers, but a small circle where, like, you feel comfortable to trust somebody. Like, hey, pray for me. Turned out to be good, and praise God. But, like, I think when you can actually feel comfortable, like, getting past, like, the surface level things, and you can actually, like, disclose, like, serious things like health things that are bothering you, I think that's when we break into, like, those deeper levels of friendship. Not just like level 1, but we can get to like level 3, which is beautiful. And I think, especially as believers, I think our relationships, relationships should be deeper than just the surface level stuff.
And you have to learn to give people space. When they're ready to open up, they'll open up. But I will say it was hard. We won't share in detail what that life change was, but to hear your story and how you handled that like a true warrior, a part of me was really proud of you and grateful for God, but a part of me was sad. Like, I'm sorry for the few weeks or months you had to figure out some serious things. But God has his hand over this kid. He brought me to his life, so he clearly has his hand over his life. The last part of this healthy conversation that we think would really bless other people in general, other believers who are navigating friendships with the opposite sex, is just the importance of boundaries. Let's talk about it. The thing is, when Kaylin and I met, I was 22. You were like
23.
Okay. You're so free at that age. You're so open. It was a blessing because there were so many things going on in my life, whether it was health, whether it was family stuff. Kaylin was there. And without going into too much detail, we've talked about it, had so many healthy, candid conversations. I feel like there was a point I had depended on him emotionally, which is not the healthiest thing. If you understand that sometimes you just can't give too much of your time to someone or emotions to someone who's not your spouse. Let's just keep it a buck. And they always say men and women's. Why did I say women's? That's why they say men and women can't be friends, because usually someone, if it's not cracked, just gets confused and gets a lot of questions. I'm going to tell it myself. me and Kaylin saw each other every day. We were here, we were there, we went to the same church. People started talking, and it was fine. Like, I would answer the best I could, like, nah, that's my friend, that's my homie. One lady, sweetheart, didn't mean to confuse me, but she said, like, have you thought about it? And like that just it tripped me up because being the over calculated thinker that I am, I was like, well, I don't know, God, I don't want to miss my blessing. I just came from a whole situation dealing with a bad boy, is that what you call it? Like someone that just wasn't good for me. And then after spending time with him, it was very evident that he was God sent. It's taken me time to fully understand, like, what do they call it? Like, helpers versus like, oh, this, what did we say? Like, I would tell you, like, Kaylin, I don't want us to 13 going on 30 each other. I don't want us to brown sugar each other. I speak in movies.
That was your favorite.
Yeah. So I think we watched that movie together too. I just went through a season. I'm just going to tell him myself. And Kaylin, he's a gentleman. I think he did what he needed to do out of the love he had for me to confirm what it was, reassure me of the way I was second guessing or overthinking. And from there, it shows that if it's really a true bond, you can bounce back from it. Like, our relationship is not awkward. Like, in fact, I'm in a position where I'm looking out for him. Like, I'm excited to go to his wedding. I know he's excited to go to my wedding, but I want to be real. Like, don't be afraid to have real conversations with your friends. We went to the beach, I think, for his birthday, and we went to dinner. And I think one of the realest lines I had to say to my best friend was, look, our friendship is gold. I mean, I don't know a lot of people moving with the same freedom that our friendship has. But in terms of this unmet desire that I have in my life, sometimes it's like a salad. Like, I feel like sometimes I do things, or I'm super extra because I know I'm so excited to one day give that for someone that is actually my portion. And I just loved how you heard me out. You understood, and we learned. No more solo beach days. Gentlemen, if you think that I move weird and don't call you or X, Y, and Z, it's just, I'm just working on setting healthy boundaries. There's certain people that are in my life that I'm looser with the boundaries, obviously because we've just put in that kind of time, but it's important to have boundaries. Okay.
I just want to co-sign everything you said, and obviously it's good that you're candid, and that's,
I try.
It's a blessing. But I just co-sign. I think when it comes to, like, I think we can all say that friendship between male and female is always tricky. I don't care what.
It's tricky.
What I don't care what level it's at. But I think, especially, I'm just going to speak as believers. I think it's really wise to, like, set boundaries and, like, not like, it's like Camille said, give somebody the time you would give your spouse, or like invest in someone.
Yeah.
Like, I think God has called us to have like male-female relationships as believers. Like, even Jesus himself, some of his most trusted and faithful disciples were Martha and Mary. Like, they were at his side. They were the first one to see him, hear about the resurrection, right? Like, he chose to reveal the resurrection to them first. But so, like, it's clear that there are godly male and female relationships, but I think you have to be wise, just because when a male and female is, there's just always sort of like natural temptations that can happen. So we got to be wise, and I think when you were talking about, like, we used to hang out like literally every single day.
He did the most shit. He did, like, this is how close we were. Kaylin would just text me like, hey, I know you like Pretty Little Liars. Can I just watch it with you? Can I come over? And it's just like, when you're young, you don't think. It's like, yeah, sure. And next thing you know, it's like we're hanging out till like all day, and it was great. But
and I think I'm glad you brought that up, because part of it is sometimes we'll seek that sort of like companionship desire in somebody else instead of the Lord. So that's a good. And Syracuse at that time, we had just graduated, and I was still. You were on your way out. I was thinking about whether or not I was going to stay there. I was like lonely though. And I was
Yeah.
like, I didn't really have like everybody had moved. Like all our friends had graduated and left the city. And I was like, I didn't know you were the only person I really had there.
Real talk.
And our church was like small, so and
Yeah.
wasn't young. There wasn't a lot of like young people there at our church. So I was like, Camille, let's hang out. But I think in doing that, it's like, yo, you probably should have been hanging out like all the time.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So to the point where it's like you depend on somebody, and so and that leads to people potentially getting
Confused.
I think the Lord has to be the center.
Yeah. Keep him at the center.
Even in a situation where it's like, there's not like a lot of, you're lonely. There's not a lot of friendships. But like you can still
have friends, but make sure you're not using someone too much to fill up. I think we were both candid that we kind of enjoyed benefits on both sides. Because let me tell you something. Like we weren't like, I know a lot of people say like we were friends, but it was like y'all going on dates, y'all kissing. Like when I say like this man prepared me for dates. There was a man who flew out to LA to see me. There was like I went through a whole heartbreak, not a half heartbreak, a whole heartbreak where I had a relapse where I almost lost my crown. He was there, and like I won't tell your side of the story, but he went through his own thing too, and like as friends, we were just so close. Picking each other up, encouraging each other. It's like it was a blessing that we got closer. Don't regret it, but still had to learn over time. Like we could have been better about setting boundaries. But hey, we're sharing it to you from sister to sister, from brother to brother, so that you guys can be better. We want you to be better.
Amen. There we go.
Okay, so if you came here waiting for the big story, why did I almost end our friendship over rice? Okay.
Let's talk about it.
So, I have my mama's genes somewhere deep down inside of me. I was feeling very generous on campus one day. I was like, I want to have my classmates over. I want to feed them. I want to serve them. So I had Kaylin and a few girlfriends over, and I said, I'm going to make my version of Nigerian style fried rice. Okay.
That was good.
Yeah, was it? So this man was chopping it. Oh, this is so good. This is spicy. Kaylin doesn't like spicy, but he ate good that night, okay? The next day, he was like, oh, Camille, let's hang out. Let's get together. He didn't want to see me. He wanted to eat the rice again, okay? So I'm a generous person. I was like, fix yourself a plate. It's fine. Get some rice. I came back and I saw scrape a full portion that could have fed me the next day, a full portion in the trash. I was so confused. I was like, what in the American brainwash action is this? I was like, Kaylin, did you throw away the remainder of this rice? And he was like, no, there was nothing left. I thought I was cleaning up. I said, Kaylin, that could feed me. That could feed someone else. There are so many starving children in the world. And that was a bomb rice. I was even tasting it in my mouth. I was ready to eat it the next, Kaylin. I was thinking this first time I was ready to be like, just leave before you get hurt.
I didn't think there was that much left.
Of course you didn't, because you didn't cook it. You didn't cook it.
I'm American. I'm wasteful.
Listen, these American kids, they need to be whipped into reality shape.
Man.
I had to show him the Nigel way. We don't waste rice. But
it was great though. It was great.
I tried. My aunties may not like it, but I like it. But no, this was fun. Thank you for tuning into this video. Stay tuned for more real conversations. It's needed to see different dynamics. I have serious relationships with people. I have very goofy, down-to-earth relationships with people. But as long as you're being your most authentic self and have that one person that you do feel that you can be that with, it's a blessing. So thanks, Kaylin.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Knock it out.
I still have this, right? This is a Nigerian cookbook that this one thought would be a good gift to give me for my 24th birthday. Kaylin, explain to me, what was this about? Because I can cook. I can actually cook. What were you trying to say?
I was trying to help you out and help you master your Nigerian cook skills. That's really what it was. I thought it was thoughtful. I thought I was being pretty genuine. There's like, look, 65 recipes in that. That's actually pretty legit.
What do you think, audience? Testing, testing, test. Oh, let's look at the camera. Testing, testing, testing.
I'm on.
You look here.
Okay.
This is occasion, like if you want to just see yourself, because make sure your posture is good or whatever. I've learned like when you think you're up straight, you're really like, oh, well, I wanted to be like this. So, but it's guys naturally, so I'm just fine. But like,
I'm trying to think about creative, like if we're having a conversation.
this is not time to get into copywriter mode.
No, but I'm saying like if we're having a convo, shouldn't it be like I'm
You want the camera facing this way?
No, like in terms of position, shouldn't it be like right here or right there? Like right now, it would look like we're doing like a.
We're not having a conversation. We're doing a YouTube video, as we gotta speak into the camera.
Yeah, but
Trust. Have you seen YouTube videos where people are sitting next to each other? They're like, "Hey, this is my friend." Da 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 da. Hey.